Senator Fetterman.
Governor, good to see you again. And I just want to acknowledge you enjoyed a very strong bipartisan vote to bring you on, correct?
Thank you, I did.
And that's a testament to your career and how serious you take this job.
Thank you.
And 25 years ago, I was a graduate student at the Kennedy School, and we were tasked with what's a policy analysis exercise. And they charged us to now to evaluate and to implement a program to privatize Social Security. And I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. I always thought that Social Security was very sacred. And I turned out to be the only student there I wrote things that I refused to entertain this, to put this in, and I argued that we just have to keep this in that kind of position. And they actually gave me a failing mark. And one of the notes that I remember, it was, Gene Sperling would fire you. You deserve to be. And one of the things we also talked about is that Social Security is then the stability of that. And I believe that it is actually very stable as well, too. And and it also was clear that some kind of actuarial kinds of adjustments or other kind of minor changes could really extend liquidity for decades. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir, it is. I mean, it has been a remarkably simple program in one sense. I don't mean to
So, I mean, this is like this whole kind of, the sky is falling, that it's bankrupt or any kinds of thing like that. It's incredibly stable.
Not going bankrupt. At worst, if Congress were unable to act as you had in 1982, there would be a big depletion event, but it's not going bankrupt. As long as Americans work, it will not go bankrupt.
Yeah, and I agree. So it would just mean, it's so critical to millions and millions of Americans. And it just would be just some small kind of adjustments like that. And then that would tack decades and decades of stability and financial security on that.
Yes, as does a better performing economy and more job creation and rising wages.
Yeah, and that's where we're at. And I find it's strange. It almost makes me giggle that, we had members of the other side were more concerned about time calls. But not now that their nominee is now discussing about cutting Social Security and things. Now, you wouldn't think that would be advisable to want to cut that or to explore that kind of a conversation? I wouldn't think so.
I haven't, in my travels through these halls, I haven't met one member that wanted to cut Social Security, and I've met members of both parties that was surprised that we already have cut in terms of customer service. I think that was unwitting. I haven't talked to a single member that said they believe we should cut Social Security.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just like you, all across Pennsylvania. I've never run into a senior or a recipient saying, you know what, we're getting too much, and we really need to think about, we could cut back and tighten our belt. And I just want to acknowledge as well, too, that I would hope that in a bipartisan level that we want to protect that and strengthen it and address it and not turn it into a political football, and just address it in ways and making those kinds of relatively minor kinds of changes to allow Social Security to be secured and fully funded for decades and decades down. And even one of my professor, Alan Simpson, my Republican from Wyoming, mentioned the same thing, that it's often difficult to address that because it's utilized more of as a political football. And is that a same statement too? Would you agree with that?
I was smiling only because I remember Alan Simpson, and he always makes me smile.
Love that guy.
The challenges that face Social Security in terms of longer-term solvency are things that this Congress certainly has the ability to address. And the good news is that this program has the support of 80% of the American people, even in a time of pretty polarized politics. So that's an enormous consensus for extending it.
Yeah, and if 80% of Americans support that, I'm willing to bet that it's 99.999% of people that are recipients that support this program as well too, and millions depend on that. So, and again, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.